Yeah, what up, YouTube? It's your boy, Know the Zob. Before I get into it, there's a few things I want to address today. I had one particular subject that I want to talk about, but I have to address a lot of other shit, so spend if I don't totally cover what I needed to. But before I say anything, shouts out to the homies from SGV. Sorry if I missed you last time, but it wasn't, it just because when I said Los Angeles, I pretty much included everybody. But, I know how the arcas are and shit, so, shouts out to SGV. But for the most part, there's a troll on here, and I wanted to address you real quick. You've been putting up pictures and shit about, areas that, I frequent, and, as far as like videotaping to your channel, like an area of where I be around and shit, but yeah, you ain't pushing no line. You ain't ran up, you know what I'm saying? And you ain't ran up, and I know you're a gaba. I could just tell by the way you act, the way you talk, but I'm just gonna say that you're gonna fuck yourself in the end, because eventually somebody's gonna find out who you are, because I know you troll other people, and somebody's gonna fucking kill you straight out. So with that being said, I'm an old man, so it ain't me. I ain't trippy. Excuse me. But for the most part, just be safe out there, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers be up third, up fourth, you know what I mean? Up fifth, up R, up Q. Like motherfuckers be everywhere, you know what I mean? So you just gotta be careful on who you be disrespecting, because eventually it's gonna catch up to you, and hopefully you just don't end up, being buried by your mama or something, you know what I mean? But for on some positive shit, I'm gonna change that. But for the most part, I needed to address something because it came up in one of my old videos a lot. Just like frequent, a lot of people are, wondering who I'm talking about, and some people have made comments on who they think I'm talking about. I'm just gonna be straight out. Look it, as far as Badger's a skinhead. I represent the double S. Whether I'm gangbanging or not, at the end of the day, it's always going to be double S. He's a skinhead. The only thing I'm saying about his video that I found a little comical is the fact that he said that, the homies wanted him got and the blacks took up for him, so they stopped the homies from moving on him. Obviously, whoever believed that shit been watching too much TV, because at the end of the day, if you gonna get got, you're gonna fucking get got, and ain't nobody gonna stop that. I don't give a fuck who you got in front of you. If you're a particular motherfucker that need to get got, you're gonna get moved on, and ain't nobody gonna be able to stop the wave. Seen it happen a million times, so that's why I laughed at the story. It's no shot at that dude. I don't know who he is, like as far as like a person, and in truth, no negative shit, but I don't give a fuck about him, because he's a skinhead and I'm a double S. Our politics are a lot different. We don't revolve around the same circles, and to me it's just, I'm just saying that on that video, when I made my video, I didn't say his name, but I just found it comical because he said blacks stood up to protect them, from the homies. So that right there is comical, because that shit ain't never gonna happen. It ain't never. That's fictional shit, motherfuckers making up stories in order to boost their channel, but that's just bullshit. The homies ain't gonna stop for nobody if they want you, you know what I mean? And for a motherfucker to say, it's just funny because Avata said he put the big homies out there like they wanted him dead. Like, for one, why are you talking about that? For two, why are you talking about that? You know what I'm saying? And then the shit with the fucking PC, how he went and told the Huda about the fucking PC, I guess, throwing his food out or some like that gay ass shit. We don't do that. That's a no. There's no snitching. There's no dry snitching. So that's why I didn't take the Vato serious. Like I said, I ain't trying to assassinate his character. It's just I find that shit comical. You know what I mean? So if anybody wanted to know why I said that, it's because I saw the video and I just thought it was fucking funny. Like, it's just fucking comical. You know what I mean? So that's why I did that. That's not to be negative. It's just certain shit I see people be putting out on prison be totally wrong. And they got motherfuckers thinking all this bullshit and they go in there and get chewed the fuck up. It's like, at the end of the day, prison don't work like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, with that being said, which people be laughing about that shit when I say with that being said, but basically I just wanted to go into how I stayed out of prison, and the things that I needed to do, and the things I did in order to keep that, to make that possible. Well, for one, when you get out, you got to get into these programs. They're going to ask you before you get out if you want to do any type of SSI or anything like that. Don't do it. That's a ploy. I mean, if you want quick money, then by all means do it, especially if you've been in prison for a long time. And since I have been in prison for a long time, that's why they offer me the SSI, but I didn't need it. I didn't need GR. I didn't need none of that. If you need GR, then by all means, do what you got to do. But for the most part, I didn't need it. You got to have a solid foundation. If you got no family backing you up, if you got nobody that really gives a fuck about you, ain't trying to give you nowhere to stay, then you're going to fail. You know what I mean? Unless you just really want it that bad, you're gonna fail. You know what I mean? For the most part, you gotta get into programs. Like I got into the DOR, Department of Rehabilitation. Probably the best thing that ever happened to me, because why, they put you in a position to where you can actually come up. You know, you're getting paid for just doing job interviews. You're getting paid for searching for work. Sometimes if you don't got a job right away, you go down to these little centers and they have you basically filling out job applications, and they really push in order for you to get somewhere. A lot of people I know that did them programs are now working in unions. Some people are like computer engineers, and like all these people. A lot of people think because you've been incarcerated that you're not smart. A lot of homies are fucking practically geniuses, you know what I mean? So that's basically what you want to do. You want to go and try to get into the DOR. If you get into the DOR, you get into a good one. I went to the one in Norwalk. At that time when I paroled, I was supposed to parole back to LA, but I paroled to IE with baby's mom. And I would have to go to the SGV to go to my parole office, which I absconded for like a month. So, you know, and it wasn't like I absconded, I just wasn't showing up. And anyways, I kind of assumed I was going back to jail, but they didn't. They didn't want to put people back in jail, so what did they do? They were slapping these bracelets on your fucking wrist. But my parole officer pushed to keep that bracelet off, because it's like, damn, you know, I'm still searching for jobs. I got to come all the way from IE to LA to look for these jobs. You know, I was working. I was doing all my certificates. I was doing everything I needed to excel. So my parole officer seen it, and he recognized that, and he chose not to put me with that bracelet on my, so I never end up being put with that bracelet. And that's basically how I did it. I just kept my mind on what I needed to do, and that was working, studying, and fucking avoiding the bullshit. Another thing is like a lot of people used to frequent. If they're on parole or probation, you want to stay away from them. If they still got the same mindset, like I want to go back to jail and all that shit, which nobody really says that except the idiots, but for the most part, you know, okay, this motherfucker's still out here doing funny shit. That's what you want to stay away from. And even if it's just, I mean, it's not going to be forever. Sometimes, like, you know, you might just have to stay away from it until they get their mind straight, until you get off parole. Now, that's when the hard part comes, is staying off parole. If you ain't got no type of good mindset and you still haven't grown out of it mentally, you always going to get back in trouble. It's the same with me. Like, I've had fights and shit while I was on parole, and luckily didn't go to jail for it because I didn't get caught. You know what I mean? But I'm one of those people that learn how to correct myself real quick. I don't have one of the mentalities that's like, you know, like with drugs, and if I'm addicted. I don't got an addictive personality. I know what I should and what I shouldn't do. So when I realized that I could never get ahead by hanging out with the same people that I did, I slid back off them. They didn't take it personal. They were my homies. They understood that I was at an age that I could no longer afford to keep going back and forth to jail. I've been going to jail since I was 9 or 10. So it's like prison was just another step. It's like, what's the step after that? The feds? No. So basically, all you want to do, because this is the one I'm really addressing, is the one lady that asked me because her son's incarcerated. Just you know, get his back. You know what I mean? Don't allow him to slip into the same shit that he used to. You know, be that foundation. He might fuck up a couple other times, but as long as you're his foundation and you really support him and you try to guide him from doing certain things, that's what held me. I didn't want to go back to jail and have my head fuck around and die while I'm incarcerated, because then I never wanted to get out. So I had to. It came down to, what do I want to do? I want to take care of my family. I want to be out here to be able to kick it with my mom. I had already lost too many years. I was already estranged from my kids, you know. And it's like, and then I end up having another kid. So it's like, I really want to be here for this dude in particular. The other ones, they were already older. I mean, as they got older, their mind state shifted. I was no longer popular, you know what I mean? Their mom was like, you know, kind of like salting me up and doing whatever she did to try to put me in a bad light. And, you know, me being the type that everything was about respect, made me seem even more aggressive, you know what I mean? But that's on a different thing. It just basically, that's what you want to do. Get out, get into the DOR, Department of Rehabilitations. Take every program you can take. Take the HAZWOPER. If you don't mind dealing with chemicals, take the HAZWOPER. I did events where I would only get paid like, I think $100, and I get paid a certain percentage of that. But all I did was pack shit away. You know, separate this chemical from this chemical to this chemical. Anything from oil to mercury, which we really didn't handle. I did decomp, we're breaking down labs. We did the one in Pasadena, we broke down the whole fucking lab. And you know, you basically got to be careful knowing your chemicals, because there's certain chemicals that you can't put together. There's, you know, you got ones that if you have them in, you can have them, if they're even within close proximity, you can cause an explosion. You know, I can break down the categories because I actually took the HAZWOPER about 4 times. You know, you have to do it every year. So I could break that down, but you know, for the most part, yeah, get into shit like that. Get into the DOR. They're gonna push you in positions. They'll put you in positions to where, you know, you can't win. You know, you got Patriot, but you know, I did something with them. I wasn't assigned to their company, but through an agency. They had that one spill of oil in Glendale some years back. I cleaned that up. Literally cleaned out. I think I made like 800, like just overnight, just cleaning, and I came late. You know what I mean? But I was called late. You know what I mean? And if you get into these agencies, be the yes man, the one that's always willing to take care of it. You know, oh, I'll go here, I'll go here. I went to Sacramento. I went to Stockton, and then I went to Roseville or something on the spur of the moment, driving up there by myself. Stopped in Preston, everything, and had to lay over in order to get the gas voucher in order to be able to continue on my route. I got there late and had to get up early, working at Pacific Union, the train station, cleaning that guck from up under that shit. And I got paid well, and I drove back to California, and that's when I was doing, not California, but down to Southern California, and I think I did something for Union Supply. Not Union Supply, but United Pumping. See, these spots, United Pumping, Patriot, and there's another one that are really good, but it takes some time, and you just got to be willing to put in them hours and be that yes man. You know what I mean? Eventually you move out of the agency and end up getting a permanent job, and then end up getting paid even when you're not working. That's what you want. A lot of these positions, a lot of people I know work for like Chevron and all these, because they got set up by doing these HAZWOPER, you know, confined spaces and shit like that, because that's the certificate you need. And when you do DOR, they pay for all that shit. You know what I mean? You don't even have to pay for none of that. They'll pay for you to go back to school if that's what you want. So yeah, that's how I stayed out. And for your son, you know, just tell him to invest in these type of programs, and you know, just leave the bullshit alone. I mean, you don't have to separate from your homies. You just got to kick it with the ones that are like-minded and the ones that are trying to get something. For the knuckleheads, I mean, they're your younger homies. They're gonna do what they can, you know, and you can only try to guide them so much. And if they don't want to adhere to certain things, then you just gotta let them do what they do. You know, knuckleheads they're doing exactly what you used to do, and that's bang. So with that being said, hopefully your son gets out and does good, and you know, and hopefully you can keep him on. But a foundation is what he needs. Just be that person that gets his back. I mean, indulge him, but don't be overindulging. You know what I mean? Just really show him that, you know, he got that support when he get out. Give him something to look forward to. You know, sometimes you got to use scare tactics. But with that being said, people always clown me on that. With that being said, but yeah, for the most part, yeah.